at my filmography, I've done all kinds of movies. My heart is in the independent cinema. Bhansali is single-handedly responsible for making me what I am today. When the pandemic happened, the South Indian industry did not panic. Whereas the Hindi film industry, they panicked and they sold everything to the platforms. So now, what they have done, they have reduced the whole industry at the mercy of two platforms. If the two platforms doesn't want to take the film, and the film is not going to get made. What the business is orienting around that. Whereas the South Indian cinema, they refused to sell their films to the platforms. They waited, and they released the film in theatres. I won't go anywhere. I will not leave India and go anywhere, because it is the Indian cinema that has given me the food and the voice. And my work is here. If I have to inspire people, it is going to be my generation, my younger generation that is coming after me. I will not put myself or paste myself away to another industry and another for bigger money. No, film as an art, it is very subjective. Something you might feel good, someone else might feel bad. It's a very subjective art. So when you criticize, you have to leave that edge open.
Hi, this is Amina Sheikh here on Zoom channel, and with me today I have someone who's made his name to the Oscars, and right now he definitely is roaring high with the success of Pushpa 2. So join me as I welcome Resul Pookutty only on Zoom channel.
Thank you.
Happy to have you, and I have rightly introduced you that Pushpa 2 is all out there. What do you have to say? Because sound to kafi zor ka chala hai.
Pushpa as a franchise, it's very special. In fact, we have added 20 more minutes now, 24 more minutes, and the Pushpa 2 Redux is coming. 17th it will be theatrically released again. So always Pushpa is some way or the other. It's always a surprise, So and it has done phenomenal business. It's been I always knew it's going to be a success, but I never imagined that. It's going to be this level of success, This a dubbed film is the highest, collection in Hindi. It's quite a thing.
I have to ask you this also, Rasul, like going by Pushpa 2, you also warned the theatres, that music ko fix kar lena ya audio ko sambhal lena, and as we go by the music काफी अच्छा है, no doubt about it, it's very good, fantabulous, but there are some songs which also faced kind of a flack on social media. The one such song was Kiss, Kiss, the song which she's doing basically, Kissak basically, yes, and it didn't receive, while it is done very well, this song it catches up on us and all. Kissak and even Rashmika's song with Allu had faced its own backlashing for something else altogether. What do you have to say on that?
The way Srivalli and Antava, the way it created sensation in the whole of India has become a reference for us. Because when you listen to the Hindi version of Srivalli, you actually think that it's an original Hindi song. It's actually not. And Antava also has created the same thing, because from the original to the Hindi version, there wasn't any difference. Whereas Kissik's song is actually part of the story. So if you listen to Kissik separately, devoid of the film, it doesn't make any sense. Same goes to Feelings, So both are very engraved in the Telugu sensibility of the film. We actually went, if you just analyze Pushpa, what is Pushpa as a film? What genre it falls? It's a gangster film to me. It's a gangster thriller, and within that, and your hero is an anti-hero. Now, how do you make an anti-hero, somebody who's on the wrong side of the law, or somebody who's playing with the law? How do you make him justifiable? That is what the Jatra scene and the last sequence have done, the climax scene has done. Now, what Sukumar has done has basically anchoring that, within the realm and the cultural realm of Telugu, as a culture of Andhra Pradesh. That's where it succeeded, and it made its resonance in the rest of India. But very interestingly, Malayalam audience rejected it. only in Malayalam, though Allu Arjun is called Mallu Arjun in Kerala. In Kerala, Pushpa didn't do well because it did not sit with them. The maybe the way the film is acted out, these kind of sensibilities, how it's been thrilled into, injected into this film. It didn't make any resonance with the Malayalam audience, and they rejected it. So Pushpa is actually a failure in Malayalam compared to all other territories. So it's very interesting.
But do you also feel that, because as you say this, it's very interesting, I must say that, because, we had this thought, like if it's in South, it's going to make noise everywhere. But do you kind of feel that probably because in due time, Marco also released, probably people, from Malayalam industry or the audience that side wanted to kind of appreciate the work which has been produced in Malayalam industry versus what's been done over here?
See, you have to understand, there is a very interesting polemics happening in South Indian cinema. See, when the pandemic happened, the South Indian industry did not panic. Whereas the Hindi film industry, they panicked and they sold everything to the platforms. So now, what they have done, they have reduced the whole industry at the mercy of two platforms. If the two platforms doesn't want to take the film, and the film is not going to get made. What the business is orienting around that. Whereas the South Indian cinema, they refused to sell their films to the platforms. They waited, and they released the film in theatres. If you look at Pushpa released in theatres when there was only 40% occupancy. Even then, Pushpa did 120 crore in Hindi territory. Even after the film was released in platform, it was still running in theatres. People wanted to go and see it in the theatres. So there is nothing, I feel there's nothing wrong with the audience. So the Hindi film industry has not given the right films to the audience. Audience will come to theatres if there's the right film. I think, very interestingly, South Indian cinema, Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, they all held together and they released the films in theatres. They never let their audience go away from theatres. Whereas Hindi panicked, and when there is a crisis, they're just willing to sell it off. That's what happened. Now you are dealing with the same roller coaster of the crisis that you yourself have created.
Okay, and following which, as you said, like, of course, the Hindi cinema got impacted the most, when the entire lockdown took place, following which a lot of movies were released on OTT. Do you kind of indulge in the idea of releasing a movie on a digital platform versus do you prefer them, to be there at the box office?
See, film as a medium, it is for the big cinemas. It is the silver screen that we talk about. The way the film is shot, the kind of production value that you create, it is for a big cinema experience. The films are made for that. What is the shelf life of a film? It's like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe 100 days max. Whereas when the film is also released in the platform, there is a longer shelf life. The film remains there, but it cannot offer the same experience as you get it in a cinema. But you still have. So from a filmmaker's point of view, of course, the platform gives you a longer shelf life because of the shift in technology. Earlier, if you take Dilwale or if you take Sholay, it's been running in theatres for years. Sholay, if you release even today, will have a certain audience coming to theatres. But those are very rare in history. So you can look at the business in two ways. But to me personally, film is for cinemas. And as far as from a creator's perspective, my film stays with the audience for longer if it's also in digital.
That's very interesting. And I must say that, as we also grow and evolve in the business, what kind of films attract you as an audience? If you have to see the cinema, what is your vision towards it?
I like all kinds of films. If you look at my filmography, I've done all kinds of movies. My heart is in the independent cinema, that is what has moved me. That's how you landed up in the film school. You left other professions and you came there. And cinema that makes a resonance with me are independent cinema or cinema that talks about film as a language. But I also love commercial cinema because all my success I owe it to the commercial cinema industry. I get to do, I get to work with bigger budgets. I get to experiment, my craft. Even today, the reason why I'm sitting with you is because I have a nomination in Hollywood, for a film that, a language, regional language film that I've done. Commercial cinema allows me to do that, and I think I owe my entire success to Indian film industry because they allowed me to flourish. They invested in me to flourish. Some of my early directors and producers have contributed immensely to take the craft of sound today, how it's been understood by the younger filmmakers, how it is understood by the cinema goers, how it has been understood by academia and the students, for example. Yeah.
But also, you have played a pivotal role in terms of the sound, what you have produced, as, the sound engineer, and the kind of movies you have, like be it, Slumdog Millionaire or, be it with Sanjay Leela Bhansali, working with them. I really want to know your potential and, of working with these, directors. Like, see, even when you have worked with A.R. Rahman and when you have worked with Sanjay Leela Bhansali, with these, stalwarts also, who you have shared an equation to. What do you have to say about that? And what do you feel that what they do is different?
Actually, Bhansali is single-handedly responsible for making me what I am today. One of the, though I have done a lot of films before I landed in the sets of Black. Black was the first commercial film that I shifted my attitude towards cinema and created something that is quite unforgettable in Hindi commercial cinema, spectrum. And Bhansali allowed me to do that. Bhansali gave me all the freedom. He invested a lot of money in creating sound design. When sound design as a concept was not even there in Indian cinema, Black came out with that. I think I have to acknowledge Bhansali as a very pivotal person in my career, as a director, as a person who understands music and sound. Rahman is a composer, and his work and my work is an amalgamation, is what comes into an audience as sound in cinema. We always have our own thoughts about cinema, his compositions and my compositions. Sometimes we exchange, we find nuances. That's what the Goat Life is all about. Yeah. All other films that we have done together. There's a greater synergy between me and him as a composer and as a sound designer. Bhansali is a solid auteur in the Indian cinema industry, and I think there is nobody like him. Somebody who cares for a frame. He spent hours and hours, his days and days in creating a frame, and he allows his cameraman, allows his people who is working with him to do whatever finesse that you want to do. He allows them to do it. He has allowed me to do it in the same fashion. So it's very interesting that you asked me this.
And also moving to A.R. Rahman, I really want to know about him also because, we have seen the association also, and we have seen the kind of music he's produced, it's also reached international, and your work itself has gone to the Oscars, it's gone to the national award. So how that collaboration was for you?
My collaboration with AR has always been very, very, like I said, it's very, there's a synergy between me and him. Sometimes what I'm thinking is what he's doing. Sometimes what he's, what I'm doing is what he's doing, he's also doing. And we come together in a same platform, and we exchange work. And sometimes I take his stuff, sometimes I don't take his stuff, and he has no problem with that. And I never seen a composer who's, many times composers are very jittery, composers are very unsettled, when I am working on the film, because they feel that I'll throw their music. I don't do that, I always think in terms of if something is working for the film or not for the film. I always have the director by this, besides me in taking those decisions. Rahman is the only composer I felt very comfortable and very. He also makes his music and gives it to me. Use it the way you want to use it, and he will only say one thing to me: if you're using the music, use it in the way it should be used. I have no problem in you deleting the music. you know. So when you're deleting one piece, which means, you know, so much money that he has spent is what we are taking it out. You know, that's also there. You know, every minute of music cost you so much money.
Yeah.
So, but then we find, you know, and he also thinks for the film. For example, for Goat film, for the Goat Life, he composed it 3 times. Composed the film 3 times. I mixed the film 3 times. You know, then we come together, we saw it together, and we say, oh, this is not working. Let me go back and let me redo it. Then we come back after 1 week, 2 weeks, we watch it together. Okay, oh, this piece is not working. So let's redo. So like that, over 6 months we worked on the Goat Life. You know, and he, over a period of 1 year, he gave me 3 full composition of the film. You know, I mean, who does it in today's time? He doesn't look at you know, what is going in there. He just want the film to do well. He just want to do the right stuff for the film. So that way, I have huge and immense respect for his work, and the way he deals with filmmakers and their films, and you know, he understands that, you know, it's very delicate and it is very we have to deal with sensitively, and he knows his audience. You know, sometimes he says, this is my vision, just go ahead with it. And I have completely followed. I'll tell you an example. In Goat Life, when Kadri and Najib, when they come, they escape, they finally find an oasis. And they drink water and they're sitting there. And Kadri finds a cola bottle, you know. So there's a wind passing through the bottle, you hear the sound of the bottle, and you go picks it up, and it starts blowing. And there is a beautiful tune comes through. And when I was mixing the film, I found Rahman used flute. Then I said, no, the flute doesn't work, because you see him blowing a cola bottle. So we should have the sound of the bottle. He said, okay, so somebody go get a bottle. So somebody ran away and got a bottle. And he asked me, so you go in front of the mic and blow. So I went in and I blew. And we created the notes. Specific notes, and he made in his computer, he made all the notes, necessary notes, and he played it, you know. But that becomes a sample, and use a sample to play the thing. When I was remixing the film, when that section came, and I realized the new sound, it is real, it is correct, but emotionally it is not working, you know. Then I told him, no, like your original thought was correct, so give me back the flute. So I took the bottle sound, I took the first note with that and blended it into the flute and carry on with the flute, you know. So in terms of reality, initially you feel that the guy is blowing the bottle, but emotionally it goes into, then you see the sprinklets flying over, and emotionally it brilliantly worked. Then I realized that his instincts are correct. And when we reach up points like that, I go back with his complete instinct and belief, you know. There are occasions like that. To tell you another story, after the interval, there's another big scene. You know, there's a lot of weather, and you know, he's braving through the desert, and he graces the goats and go and sit in a cave, and he starts eating, and the goat also share the food. They start eating together. Then he hear the one voice, you know, as if it is coming through the cave. And we had a big chunk of 2.5-3 minutes of music, orchestral music that he has scored for the initial sequences. Then we kept playing that, we kept it, and he heard it, and he says, okay, I liked it and all that. He went. But me and Blessy felt that, you know, that music is not required. Because after 3-4 years of his life in desert, the first sound he should be hearing should be a human voice, you know. So we deleted the music. So 4 minutes of orchestral music, a lot of money spent on it. We deleted the music, and he went without music. So it's an 8-minute sequence. And then he hears this one little voice, and he comes out and he see his old friend come there. That's the first time he meeting. Then we told him, I wrote him an email that, you know, we decided to meet the music. Okay, that's what is for the film. Then it's fine, you know. So it's a very I don't know how to explain.
It's a very like, like you
It's a
explain
given.
things, given, yeah.
It's a give and take, and that kind of a synergy. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to put it in words. We understand each other, and both of us understand that there is another realm to a film. There's another realm for the film which is beyond music and which is beyond sound. That's the emotional plane that you and me as an audience understand, and we work towards that.
You recently also said that you kind of feel that, the industry is not investing much in you. Why did you have that thought? And I really want to know that.
Music sells. Sound doesn't sell. That's what the industry is thinking. But the only aspect that can give you production value, which is that beyond what you're seeing, is sound. And filmmakers and producers are not aware of it. In the olden times, if a re-recording mixer, if a sound guy, he was working in the film, he was taking a lot of time in creating the film, creating the sound of the film. The producers and directors would look at him and say that he is working, he's putting so much in my film. That was respected. In today, if I am taking a little bit longer time than what people have imagined that it should take, they think that he's wasting money. He's wasting my budget. So no producer or no director would come and ask me, sir, this is the vision of my film. What is that you require?
Okay.
Then I give a requirement, and according to that, then no question asked. Then according to that, they go by. That very rarely happens. It happens in Pushpa. Okay? We know what we're making. We see the edit and we say, okay, this is what we require. I need to do this work abroad. This is a Hollywood technician who's going to be working. And no question asked. There's complete trust in you. There's complete trust in the fact that, you are creating something new, something beyond, something that the audience haven't heard, That is the investment that I said. And very rarely I get that from Hindi cinema.
Yeah, and coming to your work also, your work has been recognized internationally. And as I talk about Oscars and I talk about even the national award, being a Padma Shri, how it has been for you, because, while you may feel that the investment in you is lesser, you are going abroad, you're going international, you're getting recognized. What do you have to say on that?
First of all, blessings. And see, look, majority of all my international recognition has come from India, from work in India. This is my 7th nomination in MPSC. All the 4 came from Indian work. So I am not saying that it is not because of that is why I am not moving. I don't move to Hollywood. I don't move to any other. Everybody calls me, come and work in Hollywood, come and work in London, come and work in Paris. I won't go anywhere. I will not leave India and go anywhere, because it is the Indian cinema that has given me the foot and the voice. And my work is here. If I have to inspire people, it is going to be my generation, my younger generation that is coming after me. I will not put myself or paste myself away to another industry and another for bigger money. No, there are problems in the industry that I am working. Those are my problems too. I stay here and I educate my people. That is my responsibility. That is my vision. That's my duty. So I have no complaints. When I say this, that they are not investing it on me, I am not saying personally me. In the craft of sound, you have to believe that there is something beyond music. Indian cinema is a very peculiar problem that we face. Now, what is the music Indian people listen? It's all coming from the cinema. Correct. The films that we make. The films have a bigger responsibility of giving the music that this country needs. The country doesn't have a separate music industry like the way the West has, So the films have that burden. So the songs and the music in a film supersedes, the sound, because songs and music is only a part of the sound that we experience in a cinema. These are two different things. So we always have to struggle. And this is our struggle. We will keep struggling. We'll keep try and keep educating. We'll keep try and make noises wherever we can. We keep saying this, but we will not leave here. You know, that's my commitment.
And as you are committed, you also said, like, of course, we have our own hiccups. One such thing which was like we easily tend to criticize something. You were also criticized for Kanguwa's, music, which people felt that, or the industry basically felt
But
that.
I did.
Yeah, that
I
it's
was not
loud.
criticized. I
Yes.
was not criticized.
Yeah. So what exactly, if you could?
Now look, when Kanguwa came out, I just want to make things very clear here. Kanguwa came out, normal audience started talking about sound, and it's saying, it is irritating, it is feeling, and I felt bad. It is my craft they're talking about, So as a sound man, I felt bad that people are talking bad about sound.
Yeah.
And it is aimed at a sound guy, and I know for sure it is not his fault. He's been made to do that. So I wanted to make sure that I want to tell my own fraternity that, look, you have to tell people beyond this, loudness is not possible. We have no right to hurt the audience. We have no right to give distortion to our people so that after the film they get a headache. We want the audience to come to the cinemas and experience larger than life experience. Take them back a beautiful memory of the film they have seen. So we have no right to hurt them. And if our work is hurting them, then we have, as a technical person, as a craftsman, as an artist, I should have the right to put my foot down. And that right was not exercised. Or probably the atmosphere was that it's not been given. I mean, majority of the sound guy doesn't have a choice. We keep doing what the director is saying. We keep doing what the producer is saying. We will not stop and look back and say that, look, it's not possible. In Hollywood they do, in European cinema they do. Why don't we have the strength to turn around and say, no, not possible. We will not do it. Because it's going to hurt people. So when people started complaining, then they started going back of talking bad about this film. That's when the producers realized. Then they went back and they did correction. They re-released it, but the damage is already done.
Yeah.
Why can't you be wise enough not to create the damage? So my comment was about that, nothing else.
Do you feel that because of social media, the criticism now is way too higher? Though it also helps because you can, instantly also make changes because they also notice it instantly. Do you feel that has become way too harsher because of social media? What are your thoughts on that?
Criticism were always there. There wasn't a space to express it. Earlier we had newspaper, then we had television, and we didn't have a medium to express it. And today everybody is a critic. Everybody is an author, everybody is a writer, everybody is a filmmaker, everyone, has their own voices and they have followers and there are influencers defining and reshaping our thought process. I can't say something is wrong and something is bad. It is there. That's a part of our new age living. We need to learn to cope with it. We need to learn how to maneuver it, as a filmmakers. But also people who are criticizing, people who are putting in their views, have to also understand that film as an art, it is very subjective. Something you might feel good, someone else might feel bad. It's a very subjective art. So when you criticize, you have to leave that edge open. That's all. The criticism should be there. That's a mark of a healthy society.
And lastly, as we let you go, there's this thing which you did on social media, but you deleted, which was about Pushpa 3 announcement, which we anyway know that it's on, in the pipeline. What do you have to say about that, and what kind of sound and music you are going to, kind of try to, experiment in this one?
Yeah, I mean, that was a slip of tongue, I would say. I did not think we were working like sleepless nights, and when I was leaving Hyderabad, I just put a post, okay, tomorrow a film is releasing. Also, there's been a lot of social media acts.